Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of Boom, the Warhammer 40k figure, the Necron Flayed One by McFarlane Toys. Now anybody who's been watching a lot of my videos know that I do have issues with the modern age McFarlane Toys. I feel like he doesn't put as much work into them like he used to do back in the 90s and so forth. So I'm sure I'm probably going to have a few issues with this figure, but let's see what we see about him. So, without any further ado, roll that intro. All right, so here he is in packaging. Now he has the standard Todd McFarlane Warhammer packaging. So up top here, bend it forward a little bit. You can see the McFarlane Toys logo. You can also see the age restriction. All right. You have this open window where you can see the figure, accessories, Warhammer 40K. Come around this way. Let's recenter him a little bit. All right. You get this picture of the figure that actually doesn't look that bad. I do like that picture. McFarlane Toys, Necron Flayed One. All right, come around to the back here. You got some Warhammer art, the Warhammer logo, picture of the figure, other figures that are part of this line, your social medias, and the official Warhammer logo. Come around here. You get the continuation of that Warhammer style art. All right. On top, you got a window, and underneath you got your legal and skew. So, all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. Alright, so here he is out of packaging. First thing we're going to do is go through his points of articulation. So, the head does move. Alright, you got a shoulder joint here with a swivel, an elbow joint, a wrist joint, and you do get finger joints in here. So you do get some finger joints, and the thumb moves as well. Alright, get both of these arms up. He does have a pivot joint right at the hips, and there is a joint right at the bottom of the ribs connecting to the spinal column. You get a thigh joint, a knee joint, and an ankle joint. All right. So now that we gave this guy a good looking over, he does come with one accessory. Usually I do a separate segment for accessories, but it's only this spinal piece here. And spin around. Just connects into here. Like that. Alright, so that's all hooked up like that. So now, let's get into this dude's details. So first you got the head sculpt. So you got your standard Necron head with flesh plate plastered on it, pinned onto it. It looks kind of cool. Alright. You got a little bit of broken up flesh here, like, ripped away from his face. Alright. The body and everything is kind of like a metal wash. I do like how the body looks. But it's the skin part that loses me. Because once again, I'm used to old McFarlane where he goes detail crazy. And he didn't. Like, in the skin, I could see there, like, need to have, like, more red in it. To give him more of a flame look. And when you look on his shoulder, there's a face here. And that needs color to it. That just looks nice and pink. I'd want to see some red enflamement. There's like screws that hold this on, and they're the same color as the skin. So I would have liked to have seen a lot better color in that. The same with this other side here. You look at that, it looks very boring. It just looks like nice natural skin stretched out. I would love to see some like dark hues in there. Once again, you can see the pins, and they didn't even bother painting them in. They're just there. All right. So the skin part is a very big disappointment. As a robot look, it looks pretty standard robot looking. All right. You get this side here to see a little bit more of his details. I do like some of the design to it. Like, I like this spinal column, the hips, and everything. I like the robotic parts of him. All right. And this is a good look of how the arm looks. And back around. Now, another thing I would have liked to have seen on this guy is more flesh on him. Like, I've seen some of the old Todd McFarlane stuff, like the Torture Soul toys and things like that, to where he did some really wild, almost Hellraiser style creatures. And like, I think he did like a Twisted Wizard of Oz and a few other things, to where he made these things look really twisted. And this guy just looks ordinary. I feel like with the skin effect, you know, it could have done more with it. Maybe had some like hanging off the chest, maybe a little bit tacked onto a leg, or maybe a foot. You know, just something more than just two pieces on either shoulder and a little bit on his face. So, as a robot look, I do like the robotic parts to it. As the flesh parts, not so much. Okay, so let's get into my final thoughts of them. So first off, all his joints move fine. I have no issues with that. Accessories wise, I wish he would have came with a couple more accessories. You know, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I just feel like he could have used maybe one or two other accessories, maybe some alternate hands, or I'm not exactly sure, other than just his piece that hooks onto his spine. And his overall look isn't so bad. So, would I recommend this figure? Yes, I would. Okay. At the end of the day, it isn't really a bad figure, to be honest with you. Especially for the price range, because if I remember right, I believe the McFarlane Warhammer figures do fall under $30, or maybe slightly above. I forget. It's been a while since I picked him up. So, what you're paying for, you get it. Now, my issues with him is personal, because of the fact that I remember what Todd McFarlane figures used to look like. I remember how much attention to detail that the older McFarlane toys had. So when I see somebody like this, that I feel like he could use more attention to detail, like better painting around the skin, you know, bolts that are holding it down and stuff, you know, I get a little iffy. So those are my own personal issues against the figure, but it doesn't rank as a problem with the figure. So yes, I would recommend him. I think he would go well with the rest of your McFarlane Warhammer figures. So with that being said, the first thing I want to do is my shout outs. So I want to give a shout out to Byron Bassett and his alter ego, Humongous. He's a big supporter of this channel. He does a lot that helps his channel out. And he has his own YouTube channel, plus Sunday shows. So check all that out. And also a big shout out to Action Figure Geeks. They're a Reddit channel that I'm part of that also supports this channel. And of course, both of their information is in the descriptions. Also ask that you check out my Warhammer playlist and check out my membership program. Plus hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.